Kelly Krauskopf, if you can't handle the heat, get out of the kitchen. If you were perfectly fine when Fever fans were bending over, kissing your ass, applauding your decisions, you better stand here and take it when Fever fans are pissed off, upset, and are voicing their displeasures. If our voice mattered that much then, you best believe it matters that much now.
The president of the Indiana Fever just made comments about Caitlin Clark that sent shockwaves through the entire basketball world. And honestly, when you try to downplay the impact of your franchise superstar, everything shifts. The backlash came fast and fierce. It's almost like karma stepped in to remind everyone exactly who the real driving force of this team is. The fallout from this mistake? Absolutely unbelievable. But here's the bigger question. What usually happens when organizations try to push their biggest stars into the background?
Your brand is going to get as big and go as far as Caitlin Clark takes it. And I don't think Kelly Krauskopf understands that. And the latest video that is surfacing, floating around, being consumed by Fever fans across the globe, because this is an international superstar they have on their hands. This may have been the straw that broke the camel.
The reactions from players and staff made one thing painfully obvious. Someone inside the Indiana Fever actually believed this was the master plan. Recording a meeting about their brand strategy was bold, borderline reckless, especially when that strategy involved publicly undercutting Caitlin Clark, the very player who single-handedly dragged a franchise out of obscurity. Brilliant move, right? In their official statements, yes, let's generously call it leadership, the Fever try to frame their vision as some grand blueprint for building a timeless brand. Think Apple-level ambition. And in that vision, Caitlin Clark's role is apparently to serve as a quiet reminder that the organization doesn't want to rely too heavily on its stars because, supposedly, the whole world is watching. In corporate language, they say star players are fundamental. But let's be real. That's just a polished way of downplaying the one person who's actually keeping the franchise relevant.
That we want to sustain the growth and the interest level in the franchise. I mean, this is about the Indiana Fever. Yes, we have a foundational player in Caitlin Clark and Leah Boston, and we're going to continue to add to that. But I want this team to be the leader in the country, and a brand, an enduring brand, like Apple or something. I mean, we have a real.
Let me break down just how wildly out of touch these comments were. This executive essentially told fans, who were already blowing up online, that the franchise wants to grow the brand and energize the audience, while in the same breath implying that Caitlin Clark, the very engine behind that surge in attention, shouldn't be the centerpiece. It's like a fast food giant saying it wants to expand its identity beyond burgers, and then deciding to hide the Big Mac. Make it make sense. Predictably, fans absolutely torched the organization. Social media lit up instantly, calling the Fever completely detached from reality. And honestly, every ounce of that criticism was earned. The backlash was immediate, intense, and entirely deserved.
This isn't the NFL. This is the WNBA. A star is going to take the Fever where the Fever want to go. And that star is Caitlin Clark. Kelly, you're talking about being a leading brand. You're talking about sustaining growth, sustaining the interest level in the franchise. You know how that happens? Is if Caitlin Clark stays in Indiana, is if Caitlin Clark is participating in an entertaining and exciting brand of basketball that doesn't take away and diminish her skill sets, that doesn't turn off fans that have been following her for the last 3 to 5 years.
Some of these so-called smart executives seem to have forgotten something incredibly basic. Before Caitlin Clark showed up, the Fever were lucky to get 4,000 people in the building on a good night. TV ratings were miserable. Interest was nearly non-existent. In the world of sports, this team wasn't just quiet. It was invisible. Then Clark arrived, and everything changed overnight. Suddenly arenas were selling out. Attendance records were falling one after another. National media finally cared. The Fever went from background noise to a headline attraction. But in their infinite wisdom, The organization seems to believe this surge happened because of their brilliant internal structure, not because they landed a once-in-a-generation talent. Fans aren't turning on their TVs to admire a management strategy. They're tuning in to watch Caitlin Clark dominate. And that Apple comparison the franchise made? Absolutely laughable. Apple didn't become iconic by downplaying the iPhone. They celebrated it. They embraced their superstar products. The Fever should be doing the same instead of trying to dilute the spotlight. No one minimized Michael Jordan in Chicago. The Lakers didn't balance out Showtime. Legendary teams succeed because they center everything around their extraordinary players. Meanwhile, the Fever seem obsessed with spreading attention evenly, focusing more on fairness and feelings and trophies and growth. And the timing of these comments? Truly terrible. Clark has already been operating inside a system that clearly restricts her strengths. Slow ball movement, teammates not finding her, a playbook that tones down her impact. Fans are watching her fight through it night after night. And then management drops statements that basically confirm every fear people have had about how she's being treated. The response was immediate and brutal. Fans questioned the organization's competence. Debates about Clark's long-term future started trending. People began openly wondering if she might thrive somewhere else. The exact opposite of what you want when you claim you're building a lasting brand. And the worst part? Those concerns are real. If the Fever don't show true commitment to winning, Clark isn't going to sit around forever. She's too talented, too driven, and too valuable to waste her prime years on an organization that fails to appreciate what it has. Imagine if a franchise in New York or Boston treated their superstar like this. Sports radio would erupt. Executives would be forced to answer for every decision. But because this is Indianapolis, the Fever seem to think they can quietly get away with outdated thinking. The irony is ruthless. In trying not to overvalue Clark, they're actually increasing the chances of losing her altogether. Fail to value your greatest asset, and someone else will happily take her. And believe this, there are plenty of teams that would build their entire identity around her without hesitation. The karma here is instant. Instead of looking strategic or savvy, the franchise's comments triggered the exact explosion they hoped to avoid. They ended up looking tone-deaf, unsure, and completely disconnected from the strategy they claimed to champion. Some people get handed an incredible opportunity and never realize why. That's the lesson the Fever are staring in the face right now. Success doesn't magically repeat itself. It comes from the talent that earned it, and undervaluing that talent carries a massive cost. So it's no surprise the basketball world is calling them out. Every executive decision, every public statement, every tiny action is now under a microscope. Because here's the truth. The visibility of your star matters. Fans notice when it's ignored. This moment is bigger than one executive, one comment, or even one player. It's about the future of the entire franchise. It's about what millions of fans expect from an organization stepping into the basketball spotlight. Every move becomes a message. Every message becomes a turning point. And today's fans? They're engaged, informed, and fiercely loyal. They know the numbers. They know the history. They recognize generational impact when they see it. They cheer excellence, and they call out nonsense instantly. These voices aren't noise. They're passion, investment, and expectations. Fans aren't just spectators anymore. They're stakeholders, the heartbeat of the franchise. That's why this moment matters so much. At the center stands a team under pressure, a superstar reshaping the landscape, and a fan base demanding real accountability. Players like Caitlin Clark don't come around often. Her presence is transformational. Her momentum is global. And momentum like this is never accidental. It's rare, powerful, and incredibly fragile if mishandled. The next chapter? It's going to define everything. Will the Fever rise to the moment? Will they strengthen their connection with fans? Will they build their identity around the player who already changed their world? Or will hesitation and mixed messaging create cracks that the entire basketball world will keep pointing to? What happens next won't just influence headlines. It'll shape trust, culture, recruitment, and the franchise's future. It'll impact how players view the organization and how fans choose to show up. This can be a story of growth or a story of wasted potential. Because one thing is undeniable, The world is watching. The fans are locked in. The conversation is louder than ever. This moment lit a fire that isn't going out quietly. Momentum can launch you to new heights, or vanish before you even realize it's gone. So buckle up, stay tuned, and stay alert. The real story is just beginning. Every decision from here on out will reveal exactly who this franchise is and what they're truly building. And trust this, the basketball world will remember how this moment was handled. This isn't just a controversy. This is a crossroads, a defining moment that will shape the Fever's legacy for years to come. The next move? That move will change everything. And thanks for watching.